Welcome. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here today to hear about global climate change. What is global climate change? What causes it? And what are its effects? Well, you're going to find out all about that today. We have some great guest speakers and you're really going to take a lot from it. Well, first off, what is global climate change? We've all seen these pictures and thought about global warming and the polar bears becoming extinct and that sort of thing. And yes, that is part of global climate change, but there's so much more to it. Global climate change is actually defined as a significant and lasting change in the statistical distribution of weather patterns over periods ranging from decades to millions of years. It may be a change in average weather conditions or in the distribution of weather around the average conditions. Most evidence is indirect, but we can infer a lot of it based on things such as vegetation, ice cores, sea level change, and glacial geology, just to name a few. Here we have a graph showing the changes in sea level from 1900 to current times, and then the projected sea level change over the next few decades. As you can see, it gradually has increased over the last century, but it's going to exponentially increase in the coming years due to all of the heating of the earth. So also, I would like to talk to you for a minute about a case study that many of you may have heard about, the ban on aerosols. So in 1987, there was this thing called the Montreal Protocol, and it was instated to control the production and use of substances, especially chlorofluorocarbons, or CFCs, that deplete the ozone layer. Well, this protocol has been always successful because the amount of greenhouse warming in 2010 was half of what it would have been without the protocol. So that's about it from what you're going to hear from me, but I'd like to invite my good friend and colleague, Sarah Rose, up to the stage to talk to you about the causes of global climate change. Let's give a hand for Sarah Rose.
Hi, I'm Sarah Rose, and I'm going to be talking about the causes of global climate change. The first cause is changes in solar variability, which is the changes in the sun's energy input towards Earth, which is shown in this graph of the varying solar activity in the past 2 decades. And Earth's temperature is dependent on the amount of energy entering and leaving the Earth, and decrease in solar activity has triggered periods like the Little Ice Age from 1650 to 1680, while more solar activity has caused climate change to increase. The second cause of global climate change is global warming, which is the current warming trend due to the human expansion of the greenhouse effect. And basically what it is it's when greenhouse gases trap heat from leaving the atmosphere, and these gases are water vapor, CO2, methane, nitrous oxide, and CFCs. And CO2 comes from burning fossil fuels and deforestation, while methane comes from cattle emissions and paddy fields. And the third cause of global climate change is changes in reflectivity, which is the rays of sun that are emitted back towards the sun. And this is also called planetary albedo. And it's light objects tend to reflect the heat, while darker objects absorb it, and these are unnatural and natural, which can cause either the Earth's temperature to rise or to cool. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Charlotte McArthur, and I'm going to be talking about the global effects of climate change. Global climate change has already had observable effects on the environment. Glaciers have shrunk, ice on rivers and lakes is breaking up, and migration patterns have shifted and trees are flowering sooner than they should. Effects that scientists have predicted in the past that would result from global climate change are now occurring. These predictions included loss of sea ice, sea levels rising, and more intense heat waves. Scientists have high confidence that global temperature will continue to rise for decades to come, largely due to greenhouse gases produced by human activities. The Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change, the IPCC, which includes more than 1,300 scientists from the United States and other countries, forecasts a temperature rise of 2.5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit over the next century. More specific examples of these detrimental effects of climate change include ice melting, especially at the Earth's poles. This includes mountain glaciers, ice sheets covering West Antarctica and Greenland, and Arctic sea ice. Another prediction is that by 2050, between 75 and 250 million people are projected to be exposed to increased water stress. As shown in this diagram, which shows the global distribution of vulnerability to climate change, the vulnerability of different countries is predicted and as you can see, places in Africa and Asia and Europe are more vulnerable to this change in climate than places like Australia and the United States and Canada. And finally, changing ecosystems have forced species to move farther north, oftentimes not being able to survive in their new environment. If we fail to reduce emissions from burning fossil fuels and deforestation, we will destroy our livelihood and the natural world we cherish. As seen in this climate change pattern diagram, it shows the different effects such as less snow and ice in the caps, more droughts and wildfires, rising sea levels, warmer oceans, and higher temperatures. And finally, the last diagram is the climate connections in regards to the greenhouse gases, including things like warmer oceans producing stronger storms in regards to rising sea levels. Thank you.
All right, everybody, let's give a big round of applause for our great guest speakers, Shelton McArthur and Sarah Rose. They just did a great job, and I really learned a lot from them, and I'm sure you did as well. Well, I would like to invite you to come out to the lobby once the show is over and get your own autographed copy of the book that myself, Shelton McArthur, and Sarah Rose all co-wrote together called Global Climate Change. Say what? I would also like to remind you that most of the information that we presented you with today are inferences that scientists have made based on events from Earth's past. So keeping that in mind, we invite you to make your own opinions about global climate change. Well, thank you all so much for coming out today and listening to our presentation.